Hey guys! So today's my first time live streaming, so I hope I do well in this. Today we are going to do material studies. We're going to do leaves. So yeah. So here's what I've done so far. I did grass, tree bark, fur, magma, glass, and electricity. So you can see over here my layers, I have a folder which I keep all my completed spheres. You can do this by clicking this folder icon here. Then I can double click the title and I can name whatever I want. And then I can click one of the layers and then I will kind of drag it in there. So that's kind of roughly how it works. So today I'm going to do leaves. This will be the 7th material study I've been doing. So far I've been finding it pretty fun and difficult at the same time to learn different materials. It really helps to practice the different kinds of textures. So for leaves, I kind of prepared a color palette here from dark green, changing its shade to kind of yellow. I kind of like greens with a little bit more yellow into them. So for this, let's see, I had to kind of like Google different kinds of green. So I kind of went to Pexels. Pexels is pretty good because all of their uh, reference photo, they are like public domain, so it's pretty cool. You can use that as reference. Pexels and Pixabay is pretty good. So I kind of like copy this and then I just kind of made a new, so I press Control N to create a new canvas and I click OK and I press Control V, which is a shortcut key for paste. And so I have this photo here and what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of take the colors of it. So I'm going to press Alt. So I have the eyedropper tool here, as you can see. Then I can go over to whichever color that I want and I'm going to click any color. Then you can see the color selection over here and I can just click new and then I get a new color. So this is what I did. I got all the colors that I want, so I'm just going to give it a try. Okay, so for this one here, I'm going to use a wand tool. Right now I'm selected on the current sphere. I'm going to click the outside. I always prefer to click the outside because if I invert it, which is Control-Shift-I, then it kind of gets more of the selection. It doesn't really matter now, but usually for other projects, it does help a lot as compared to selecting it on the inside. So I'm just going to Control-J, which kind of duplicates it, just in case if I made any mistakes and I just want to go back to the beginning of the sphere. Like if this is the duplicate layer and I made some mistake that I don't want, I can just delete and I still have the original sphere underneath. In case anything, you know, I prefer it that way. So I'm just going to duplicate it again. I'm going to, the sphere underneath, I'm going to make it invisible, just, you know, to avoid complications so far. So let's see. Alright, so I'm going to select it and inverse it. And then I'm going to get my hard round brush, opacity and flow to 100. I'm going to go for a dark black, dark gray, maybe black, nah, dark gray. Alright, black. This one is kind of like to have the shadows first layer. Okay, so this is going to be the shadow. I'm going to go over to my tool presets here and I'm going to click leaves. This is my custom brush for leaf. I will provide the brushes over on Patreon. So you guys can download that when you're there. So the opacity, I think I'm gonna make it 100 and flow as well. So just kind of like create the silhouette of leaves. So it's not gonna be a perfect circle. You're gonna have like kind of leaves jutting out a little more than others. Oh yeah, another thing that I did was also kind of like Google a little bit of reference like ball of leaves, and this is kind of like the kind of like what it kind of gives you a frame of mind to like roughly how it will look like. This one looks pretty nice as well. You know, you got the vines around, so it kind of gives you an idea and be kind of creative with it. So yeah, just kind of like use the internet for references. Okay. Where was I? Okay, so okay, I'm done with the shadows, the dark part. Just kind of added a little here and there. I'm gonna go over to the dark side. I'm gonna make it, sorry. So I click on the paint here and I can go to a darker shade of color. I'm gonna pick it kind of like gradually. Oh, right. Opacity and flow, I'm just gonna decrease it to 50, 45 around there. And click the color. Okay. Then I will kind of make it brighter as I go forth. And since it's kind of like, you know, plants and stuff, just kind of make it as like not too spherical, just kind of like at random placements and stuff. I'm also going to add a different kind of leaves. I'm gonna go over to yellow. Maybe make this 100. I'm kind of like the lazy artist, so it's gonna be the least amount of work. So, So this is what I usually do. I usually kind of flip it horizontally to kind of give me a new perspective. So usually the shortcut key is for this is alternate I, G, and H is for horizontal. So this is what I usually do. And to undo, I usually press Control Z, so that's why I can kind of see what I did and done in a fast manner. Maybe I should add a little bit more texture here. Maybe I should add some more out. And usually towards when I'm going to finish, I would kind of play with the levels a little. So I press Control L for shortcuts, and this kind of shows the histogram, and I usually play with this, kind of make it brighter. So this one is on the right side, kind of like controls the extreme highlights. The middle one kind of controls the midtone, so it's like kind of overall how bright you want it, how dark. And this one controls the shadows, so you can see definitely helps with both the brightness and the contrast at the same time. What else? And can also play with the color balance. Color balance is Control B, and you can kind of make it if I want it to be a little bit more yellow and kind of move it towards the green. You can see that it kind of affects the colors as well. Or maybe I want it to be more warm, so I'm gonna move it away from the green and just kind of move it towards the red. So you can see it looks more brownish, autumny feel to it. I feel like maybe I'm gonna create a new layer, Control Shift N, just in case I make some mistake, because this part I don't feel so confident about, just in case. No, not really feeling it. Okay. Alright, I think last resort, not last resort, but I'm going to use a dodge and burn tool. So I'm going to go over to, I'm going to press O, and this kind of look-alike magnifying glass actually brightens a certain area. And you can further control it through midtones, shadows, and highlights depending on how intense you want your highlights to be. So I set it to midtones and I just kind of, just a little bit. Okay, then I'm going to press Shift 0. This gives me to another set of tools. So you can see this, it kind of looks like a hand making an O sign. That's burn. And again, you can kind of control it through shadows, midtones, and highlights depending how you want the intensity of how dark you want it. some vines may be good, so just gonna go for this. Can I get some of the darks as well, just inside? Hey, Anne! Wow, so nice to see you here. Wow, I did not expect this. So this is just my first time streaming, so I just make it a quick one. I'm actually gonna finish this just really quick. How have you been? How's the moving coming along? Do you think it's enough vines all over? Okay, I think we shall try the shadow. So now that I'm done, I'm just gonna like Control E. Sorry, not Control E. I'm gonna press down Control. This allows me to merge multiple layers. So for example, I have the vines, the entire sphere of leaves. So I'm gonna combine these two. So I'm gonna press layer 1 and Control. So that allows me to select more than one layer. I'm gonna press Control E, and that allows me to merge those layers. So now it's all together. Okay. I'm gonna try something new. I'm gonna duplicate it, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna press Control T. This allows me to transform it. I'm gonna go distort. I'm going to bring this down. Just kind of experimenting a little with the shadows. Okay. I'm gonna make it all dark so the lightness will be black. And let's see, filter, go to, oh, I realize you can't see it. I'm actually bringing down the panel from filter, and then I'm going to click on blur and I'm going to select Gaussian. This allows me to kind of make it have that very blurry effect. But I want to do this to kind of show all the vines at the same time. So I can, over here, the fill and opacity, I can just kind of play with it how dark I want it. Let's see, maybe here. So I'm gonna move this layer from here. Okay. So I'm sorry, I didn't explain. Just now the shadow layer was here. I'm gonna move it below the ball of leaves. So as you can see that now the shadow is below that ball of leaves. Then I'm gonna transform it again, so that's Control T. And I'm just gonna move this wherever I want it. So over here would be best. So I think it's kind of nice that I kind of duplicate it from this ball of leaves, so you can see that over here there's all this veins and leaves kind of jutting out. And because let's see, because the light is coming from this side, I would have to kind of either erase it or darken it as I please. So I'm going to use an airbrush. Man. And says that bad internet connection. I don't know if it's from your side or from mine. I don't know. Internet connection on my part has been pretty bad as well. So I think that's a bad combination. So I'm going to start a new layer because I can't make this darker as it already is because it's already in its 100% capacity. It's just that this fill here, I kind of decrease it. So it's already at its 100%. If I kind of add more black to it, it makes no sense because it's already as black as it gets. It's just that this fill here kind of decreases everything. So I'm going to make a new layer and I am going to oh no, you know what? Never mind. I just deleted that layer. I'm gonna select the shadows layer and I'm gonna duplicate it again. So this makes it darker. So I'm gonna try it again one more time. And then I'm gonna select the first two layers and combine them. And I'm gonna use an eraser. I'm gonna use an airbrush eraser. I will provide all the brushes that I use for this in my Patreon page. So I'm going to use this as to kind of make the edges don't look so intense, because as the light source kind of furthers from it as the object. Wait, hang on. So the light source is this side, and the object closest to it will be at its darkest, but because there is more space here, here is going to be softer. Okay. I think probably a little more. Okay. I think that's about it. Oh yeah, don't forget the spotlight. I totally forgot about the spotlight. So, spotlight. create a new layer. And I'm going to use my airbrush for this. I'm just going to use an eyedropper tool and kind of select the parts of the light just to get that same amount of color and tone. Oops. See, layer placement can be very important as well. You know what? It's being cut off from the borders. So I'm going to extend it. So I'm going to press C. It's also your shortcut key for crop. And I'm just going to extend this down a little more. So I'm just going to enter, agree. And I'm just going to click my background. And I'm going to press G. This is for the bucket, so you can see the bucket icon is over here as well. You can find that. I'm going to press Alt, so that's an eyedropper tool, and I'm just going to paint this here. So you can see that it's cut off my lighting here. So let's fix that. I'm just going to erase everything. Just going to delete everything again and start over. Okay, so I'm going to use an airbrush that gives a very soft edge. So I think everything just kind of comes together. Once you have the shadows, the spotlights, then they kind of understand where is it coming from. Wow, you can stream through your phone. I've never streamed through my phone before. I've always streamed it through my laptop. So, just gonna press alternate I, G, and H so I can see this horizontally, flip it horizontally. And I think it's okay. I'm quite satisfied with it. So I'm just gonna select multiple layers. Okay. All right. Okay, so, oh yeah, one more thing. I have to label this leaves. And oh, too big. Sorry, it's not showing up because the font is too big, so you can't see anything. Bold italic. Okay, yay! So we are 7th material study done. I think you're watching this in your house or using mobile data. I think Wi-Fi is a lot more powerful. I don't know, I think that's about it really. I can't think of anything. Okay, I guess that's it. I mean, this is actually a really short stream. I wanted to touch the water because I've never streamed before. So I guess I got the hang of it. I'm actually using Restream. So I'm streaming on Twitch and YouTube at the same time. So yeah, I'd like to thank Thank you, Anne, for keeping me company here. And well, actually, it's just really fast. And oh yeah, okay. So one more thing, I'm going to select the ball of leaves and the shadow, and I'm just going to merge them. And because as I finish this, I'm gonna like need a lot. It takes up a lot of space in the layers pile, so I am going to click on this and hold it, and I'm going to move it to completed spheres folder. So now it is joined with the other materials. Yay! Oh, let's see. Why is the shadow like that? Oh, right. I forgot to delete the old shadow because, as I said, I have the original sphere here. I just, turns out I don't need the backup. I'm gonna just delete that and just gonna put leaves and words here. So yep, I got 2 more before, well, I'm gonna continue this, so yep. Aw, I'm your dragonfly fairy. Aw, thank you, Anne. And gosh, you're making me blush here. So that's it for today. I'm just I had fun. I'm actually quite surprised everything went quite well. So yeah, considering I am going to continue this. I mean, even after this too, I'm still going to continue a lot more. So if you have any suggestions on any other materials, you can leave it down in the comments, and I would really appreciate it. I like to hear your thoughts, and yeah, and paint them. It really helps me think of what to paint too. So yeah, that's all for today. Thank you so much for joining me tonight. Thank you, and I will see you guys in the next stream. Thanks.